are apparently live.
Good.
Yeah. But we're live with 0 viewers, so it's a great start. It's no worries. We can just ease into it,
Yeah.
Anyways, so here we are. This is the second of our Connect Live sessions.
Mm-hmm. Good.
1 second. I'm getting a lot of feedback, so I'm having to do something with my headphones. 1 second. I apologize for that. Audio output. This is not a great start.
Should I be using headphones now?
Try that.
Hello. Can I talk? Yeah. Now.
Yeah.
It's working.
I am just having an issue where I can hear myself on my own headphones,
Hey.
which is very confusing.
Is it as there? You see? Okay, we got at least 2 people watching.
So yeah, basically, sorry, as I was saying before I interrupted myself with my own voice, this is the second of these Connect Live sessions that I'm trying to do. And the Connect Live is meant to be a pun based on import data or connect live to data. And we are connecting live. It's a bad pun, but I went with it anyway. And I'm joined today by Bernat, who is becoming increasingly famous for his fantastic work on calculation groups.
Calculation groups.
Yeah. Exactly. Hello, mate. Please introduce
you.
yourself a little bit and say who you are and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Can be lengthy. I don't know. My name is Bernat. I
Go
was
for
born
it.
in Barcelona, and I majored in engineering, industrial engineering. But from there, I did my Erasmus in Germany, so you might be familiar with that. And then from there, I spent a year in the States, then I went to university, then I went to Germany, and then I went to Japan, where I stayed 5 years and where I met my wife. And
Very
then
nice.
we were back in 2010, and we've been living in Barcelona ever since. Work-wise, it's been a bit weird because in Japan I was doing like a PhD in something not related to engineering or science at all. So it was like a social science thing. Really, it was like, what are you doing? Well, I don't know. I was young. I didn't have any better idea, so I did it somehow. Not really happy about it. So eventually, I moved back to what I was best at, which is like working with Excel and stuff like that. And from there, I started into macros because the tasks I was asked were too boring, and eventually I started learning how to do macros. And then in Barcelona, I got like a Excel macro job.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second, mate? Could you potentially put headphones on? Because I think I can hear you twice when you talk.
Oh, that's terrible. Why is this happening? Okay. I'll go grab my headphones. Where are they?
I'm not sure it's my issue but I can hear everything that's being said twice. If it's my issue, I apologize because now I'm just sitting on my own now. We'll get there. If someone is listening and can also confirm that it's not my issue, that would be fantastic.
Okay. Okay, wait a minute. I'll need to put something else. Oh well. Okay. We'll put a cable, which always works best, not this one. Okay, this should work. They are Bluetooth, but let's see. Is it getting better?
I hope so.
Okay, you hear your voice? No?
I think so.
I
can hear you.
Okay, good. That's good. Only once. Anyway, so I can see, and then from Excel macros, I moved to Excel macros and SQL with a platform, and then from there I started. I moved away from Excel for a while, and that exposed me to Power BI and other SSIS stuff and all these cool things.
Fantastic.
And I don't know, I'm enjoying very much the Power BI kind of thing.
Good, fantastic. I just want to just pop in now with an apology and just in the general admission as to how stupid I am. The reason I was getting all that feedback is because I had this open and also YouTube open, so I was hearing it twice. First you saying it, and then it was my. So seriously, not that I'm a massive beginner or at this sort of thing, but this was completely my fault, and I made you put on headphones. My apologies, sir.
Well, they are on now. I hear you super well now.
Wonderful. I like it. Yeah, basically, I obviously was checking out your blog quite a lot recently because let's just dive straight into the obvious, right, with calculation groups. I was probably a little bit slow on the uptake because I was working on some projects that went on too long. And I always said to myself, when I start my next new project, then I'll do it with calculation groups, then I'll use Tabular Editor. And they went on longer than I expected them to do, to go, sorry. And at the end, I felt like, I'm lagging behind a little bit here. So I'm only in the past 2 months really getting the calculation groups and the complete wonderfulness of them all. They are, in some regard, I mean, obviously, in every regard, mostly pretty fantastic. In some regard, I feel it a complete, thank you, Christian. In some regards, a complete mystery in regards how they work, what they do, for example, and some of the work that you've done is just a different level to me, to be quite honest. I tried to look at some of these macros to how to automate stuff. Okay, and it's so. I mean, I have no background. I mean, I mentioned in the last chat, but I'm sure a lot of people didn't hear. Like, I have no background whatsoever. Like, I didn't study anything coding or Cody. The first time I saw VP. I saw a VBA and I just like shut my laptop and ran away. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's a bit unfair that I saw Power BI. I was like, oh great, I can do all this stuff, and I learned quite a lot, and DAX and M. And it's like I don't need macro, I don't need VBA, and then comes along Tabular Editor. And I'm like, God damn it, this sucks.
Come on, man! Well, actually, I feel that we should be able to like do stuff like this with visuals from that would be, I mean, because sometimes we're doing the same thing over and over again. It was like, come on, this is a computer. I mean, why can't I do that? And the thing is that while I was doing macros, I mean, I went pretty fast over that, but it was like 5 years. 5 years doing macros takes you a long way. So
it does.
At first I was working by myself, and then eventually like a couple more guys came into the team.
Okay.
And I had like, first I had like this huge module with all my generic functions. So when the other guys came, it's like, okay, I cannot even like explain how this is. I don't even know where it's in there. So I started like making different modules and so on. And eventually I said, whoa. And then I discovered how to code with code. And it was like, oh, I can export that and import it. And then I created like a code manager. So we're in an Excel, and then you can like update those modules. And then if you make changes, then you could publish them back, but in a folder, no Git, no thing. So very, very basic. Okay. And I made a toolbar, and then I could like stuff on Excel with my macros, and I would like generate range names and all this sort of thing. So I was like in a very, very advanced Excel, so to say, because Excel to do what I wanted. And that was awesome feeling, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Now with Power BI, I'm still at like a level 1, but it felt like natural to me. Like I should be able to do that. And when Johnny Winter presented his script on that calculation group, I was like, oh come on, this can be done. Then I can. Then I could do the time calculation one probably. And I started. I was like, it cannot be real. I mean, why hasn't anybody used the DAXparents.com definitions to make a calculation group for that? Because time intelligence is basically the same thing always.
Exactly.
And on the project, so maybe the column is different and so on, but that's about it.
I mean, I think it's a great example of how far you can get with just enthusiasm. You know, like
Yeah.
if you're doing something and you started, as you say, and like, oh, this is great, and I'm going to do more, and you just keep pushing yourself and you push yourself.
Yeah.
And I think I feel like at this point the universe is trying to tell me that I need to learn this stuff. So I won't fight it. It's my next my task to go down that route and at least starting to understand the code that has been provided me by people like yourself, which of course I appreciate. But of course, fantastic.
Yeah.
But I was still at the level though where I was using it and I could not for the life of me work out why it was completely destroying all of my conditional formatting measures
Why would they?
because I wasn't wrapping them in an if, so it was just like an affecting
Ah.
everything.
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't,
Okay. I understand. Yeah.
you know. So if I write in a conditional format for like a title, for example, and I use this as a slicer, then it wouldn't
Yeah.
show my conditional format because I wasn't aware that. So I was like, do I have to wrap everything in an if? So going to
Yeah.
trying to understand that, I was like, okay, now
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
go back and
Yeah.
I will now wrap everything in an if, which
Yeah.
yeah.
It,
So
it is important. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, even your
apparently,
dynamic title can break the whole visual. If you do year
yeah,
over year, then
yeah,
it's not just the title that breaks down; it's the whole visual goes gone. It's out, and
yeah.
then it's like, okay, so yeah,
No,
wrap
it's
your
good
stuff.
fun though. But your blog it's been going since like what March 2021, right? As far as I can
Yeah,
see.
not long. Yeah.
It's I love about it is see if I can share my screen without it exploding. It's got a bit of lag when I share my screen, but I'll
Do it
try to do
right
it
now.
anyway. I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna be bold about it. Um, this right. What I love about this are these the it's kind of like a trademark perhaps of
Oh, this is the
all
only one
your
that
blog
does it.
quotes. Whereas the
Is it
calculation groups,
maybe
you have to.
maybe yes, this one's yeah yeah.
I love it. Every
Oh,
time I
that's
see
super cute.
when when someone posts it or references it and there's like a screenshot and I see this because from Snagit, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. I
Yeah,
mean,
we
it's
discussed
very
it briefly.
basic.
It's so good.
I
It kind
did.
of adds a visual element that makes it so interesting, so fun to look at. It's such a. I feel it's like a Bernat trademark when I see these emoticons. But no,
Yeah, it's
it's
good
a
that nobody was using them because yeah, I said okay, why not? I mean, I
yeah.
like them. They're very expressive, and it brings
They
some
are
emotion to a technical blog, which otherwise would be unbearable,
this
probably. Yeah.
this one pretty much explains how I feel most of the time when I use. And I was like, what is going on? I don't understand anything.
Yeah. There's a
Um,
next level when the green phase is when like it's a whole disaster. Then I'm not sure. And a couple of posts there's a green phase as well, and with
yeah.
the X as eyes, and then it's like well.
Oh man, but no, it's truly fun. I mean, I was because obviously like looking at YouTube videos and stuff. It's like, should I do like a video on on calculation groups? And I'm thinking, I always like assess this and think to myself, but like what can I add? You know? But there are so many such good content out there, of course, including it's like. And I one sec, what am I doing here? How we were before? We were like that. We were
We
like
were
this.
like,
I'm not
no, we
sure.
were the other way, but it doesn't matter.
I'm just going
Now
to
you see
choose
my
this one.
whole untidy room. Now you see myself. Okay. Either way.
I like this that you got going on. Anyway, let's just focus on small points, mate.
Yeah.
But it's obviously like a fantastic thing, and using your work quite a lot. And I really you and Johnny Winter seem to have developed quite a symbiotic relationship when
Yeah.
helping each other with your work. It's quite cool.
Hmm.
I was looking at something today regarding dynamic. So basically changing or using slices to change like themes, yeah, which of course led me back to your post how you can do this with type and how Johnny said you could change the
Ah.
background using the JSON file, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I want to try to do like create like a combination of those two methods because
Ooh.
I find it really frustrating that there is so much conditional formatting in Power BI, but there isn't really any conditional formatting that allows you to just change the background color,
No.
which is
No. No. No.
it's just
Then you have to
crazy to me.
a shape or something, and it's yeah, and then it's
Yeah.
messy.
But on the subject of shapes, I gotta say, I was looking at the new Power BI update, or is it new? I think it's fairly new,
Yeah.
and you can now
Round
put
edges or
the well, not just that. It's also you can
ah,
use. I think it's new. You can use the images now on buttons.
oh, okay. Good.
So I was thinking if it's not new, but I think it's somewhat new. And I was thinking because
Button.
Power BI for me is always kind of lagged behind in this possibility of using things, of creating reports that could be like really fun infographics.
Yes.
But if you can use images as buttons, you could create something really cool. What's this? I want to how to highlight this.
Looks like I'm part of the Cal Group Musketeers. I like that. I'm very honored to be in that.
That is pretty cool, mate.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
is
Look,
pretty cool.
I look. Oh, yeah. Kane was wow. Kane with Reed. That video on Reed's channel. I was like with my mouth open. I was like, oh my god, oh my god. Can you do that with calculation groups? I knew that they existed, but not that they would be like so obvious, like to use and in a report. So I was really well. That is transformative to me. But sorry,
Yeah,
we're talking like
no, it's not fine. It changed for me. It changed the entire concept really of what you could do with Power BI with calculation groups is crazy. But like I like this calculation. Was it calculation group musketeers? Was it? It's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like you have Kratos. Is it Kratos or Kratos BI has these data guards, and now we
yeah.
have the calculation group musketeers. That's quite cool.
Well,
We,
somebody call me some graphics,
yeah, you
some
got to do it,
logo for
man.
that. Yeah, I'll put it out in my blog.
Do it. Yeah, but no, I was thinking for the because that you can do like crazy stuff with buttons. Hey,
Oh,
Johnny,
John is
we just
there.
we just been talking about you. Only fantastic stuff. Don't worry. We'll come back to calculation groups at some point, but I want to show this. It's really like I'll do stuff with Power BI sometimes that's completely ridiculous and has literally no business usage, but
Oh,
might have a usage if you want to create something fun and interesting, a bit different. Because I do think Power BI lags well behind like stuff like Tableau to create something that's like visually interesting. Yeah.
maybe yeah.
So I created I did this in like 5 minutes, and I don't ask me why I came up with this particular image. It's ridiculous.
Hey.
So this
Okay.
these are all buttons.
Uh huh.
So I don't know why I
What do
came up with a
you?
I don't know why I come with a concept of a road with traffic lights with zebra crossing in it, and I don't know why particularly this sheep is so near this road, to be quite honest. But I do think it's really quite cool that you can do so much with buttons. I know people hate buttons, however, Frogger, thank you very much, Johnny. Exactly, it's kind of like we could sheeper, Frogger with sheep exactly. People like to create games on Power BI with DAX and stuff. You could create
Oh,
Frogger or Shipper using this. But I understand this is a really ridiculous example. But at first I thought, oh yeah, okay, buttons, like, who cares? You can't do much with that.
well,
It's almost like, it is. I hate that visual in Power BI, but actually you're quite right. It is. Because I think it's one of the first visuals that I saw when I first started using Power BI because it was always right there. And I was like, what is that for? What
why
can you
would you
do
do
with that?
that?
Yeah. And I still haven't figured it out. And now Christian's just told me I've essentially recreated it myself. So actually, I should feel a sense of deep, deep shame to be quite to be quite honest. And I love the way you've got people such as yourself and Johnny, and of course a lot of other people
Yeah.
doing like really amazing stuff with calculation groups. And someone's like, "What do you do, Ben?" Created this. I
Well, but
created
wait
sheep in
a
the field.
but wait a minute, wait a minute. I do useless stuff. I mean, with calculation groups, you can also do useless stuff. So, I mean, I did that. I started playing with hexadecimal codes for colors. Okay, which is like just red, green, blue in hexadecimal codes. So I said, wow. And then first I said, we can make it transparent. So I made all the calculations so that with a slicer from 0 to 100, you would get like 100% transparency or 0. but it's not so easy because you have to switch it to the hexadecimal back and forth. And it was like, I need a calculated table, so it gets all twisted. But anyway, I managed to do that. Okay, very good. And then I made, I need a calculation group that gives me some transparency. Okay, we have it. And then I said, but colors, we can also change the light of colors. I can make the color darker or lighter.
Yeah.
And then I started to like reverse engineering how Power BI creates the colors.
Okay.
Which is basically because you define only 8 colors, and then Power BI defines the rest of it, making them lighter or darker. And it's basically 50% darker means you get each of the values, and then you go, so 0, 0, 0 is like black. So if you go to the half of that, you get 50% darker, okay? And then with white, it's pretty much the same, but going in the other direction to 255. So anyway, you start playing with those things, and you can get to the colors of Power BI. And then I had it, and I was like, yes, I did it. But then it's like, what for? I don't know.
But it's one of these. I do really think that learning can be, you can do it so well just by like, you do things because you can, not because there's a need to do it. Just like you're kind of curious and you're like, okay, if I do this, you have no goal in mind. You just kind of like, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then it might lead to something interesting. So one day, in a year's time, my CFO might say, Ben, by the way, can you create a report that looks like sheep in a field? And I'd be like, wow, amazing. I can totally do that. It's fantastic.
I know. What is sad is that Power BI doesn't allow you to do like conditional formatting when you're using a legend field. So you have a scatter plot, like, okay, and then you put like separate by this concept, and then it assigns colors, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
Which is very sad. I mean, like, why? I mean, just give me, I don't know.
There's lots of things of why I think with Power BI. So I just popped up a couple of aquarium comments there because I saw we had a Jira ticket aquarium. I don't know what that is. Also, once you had a Jira ticket aquarium, as in an aquarium for Jira tickets, and you will have. And also, Johnny, what you got, Johnny? So at a former employee, we had a Black Friday aquarium. Don't even know what that is. And I feel like I need more information about all these aquariums. Yeah. And it's great because this is why I like these live chats, because in no way did I think at the start of this we'd be talking about the Power BI aquarium visualization. But here we are, right? This is where we're at.
Actually, so it's new to me. I'll look for it.
Do it. I want to see a blog post from you about the Power BI aquarium and something to do calculation groups.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, you do it, mate. All good. Tickets, fish that age, I would float upside down. That's actually a really cool idea.
Okay. And then this is fish, like
fish that age would float upside down.
Makes sense. You don't want fish to die at your aquarium.
You don't, unless you're some kind of sadist. But this is actually quite a good idea. I like that. See, there's a use case for everything. If you create the need, it'll be there.
Okay, I have my daughter. Okay,
it's all good, mate. You go for it. It's very BBC.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all good.
It's okay. I understand it completely, mate. I actually went for Thursday nights with this. Actually, I was speaking to Johnny about organizing these.
Daughters,
yeah, I've got 2 kids myself, and running around, and I put my kids to bed at 8:30, and I was like,
good work for you.
Can they fall asleep? I'm not sure.
My wife is supposedly covering me, but maybe not that. But
I was watching your what they called again? I apologize. You did a 45-minute chat about calculation groups, of course, and I was watching it. There was also kids in the background. These power breaks. Your power break.
Power break. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
3 or 4 people. Okay,
I understand the hecticness of kids.
yeah, completely.
Oh mate, but yeah, I was another thing I noticed in the update. If just so you know, if you need to go, it's perfectly fine. And I'm sure everyone will understand. Are you sure? Okay. And anyone who has a kid will fully understand, and anyone who doesn't have a kid might at some point, but it doesn't matter. I was watching the video for the update today, and they said that one of the updates is like we have listened to your requests, and you can now take off the total in the waterfall chart. I was thinking, I've never heard anyone mention that. Not at all.
No,
I've never
heard.
seen anyone use a waterfall chart for quite a long time, to be honest. But there you go. I don't
Oh,
know where it
but
comes
the
from.
waterfall very. It's really like the replacement for the pie chart when you have like 5 or 6 categories, isn't it? But you should use like the
That is
vertical one,
true.
or I don't know. I
Yeah.
did that thing that I did with the dynamic chart type thing. I don't know if
Right.
you got
Okay.
that one.
I did
Uh,
see this one.
okay, when you got selecting, then it would switch. It would hide one and show you the other one.
Yeah.
And people went nuts on LinkedIn. It was like, oh my god! It's like, come on, I don't think you can use that in production, but it's cool. So I put it up there, and I don't know.
People like
Like
this
it.
to see what you that you can do, not the stuff that you
Yeah,
need to do. You know. Again, it's about,
yeah.
is it helpful? Sometimes no, but whatever, you can do it. It's quite cool. And there will always be some. I personally, like, I don't really. This makes me sound like such a terrible person with the way I create reports, but I don't particularly like giving the end user a great amount of freedom,
Too
because
much freedom, yeah.
yeah, because like, I can't think of the English word right now, or nor the German. In my experience, yeah, Erfahrung, experience. Sorry.
Okay,
Um,
that's fine.
the more, depending on the users, of course, the more freedom that you give them, the more likely you are to get questions as to why stuff is not the same. Which is why, and this is probably an extraordinarily controversial thing to say, which is why I really don't like using the filter pane. I really don't like the filter pane. No.
It's a bit dangerous. I'm not really fond of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to be honest, I really don't get so much of a say on the final report. So it's really,
Okay.
I don't care.
Okay. Yeah.
People normally ask me about modeling and measures and stuff, and then when it's
Yeah.
more or less set up, they just keep going. I
Yeah.
just help here and there, and I don't know. It's very tough because you jump into a new report, you have no idea what is this about, and it's like, oh, it's so refreshing. And I was like, okay, try this, try that, and well, and then eventually we get someplace. Yeah,
I love you. I love you, Johnny.
death to the filter
Always
pane.
hide the filter pane. I think it depends on the project. If I'm working on a project where I've got, like, where a lot of the calculations are just like handed to me, then I get more picky about the end product visually, because I'm like, okay, that I couldn't really do anything fun there. So
Yeah.
this, how it looks, is going to be my thing. Okay, and you can't have this and you can't have that, but you can have this, and you didn't request this, but I'm going to put it in anyway because it's cool. So yeah, of course, it just completely depends on the project. But I try my best not to
Yeah.
be too picky, but I am.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking as I was setting up this stream. I was setting, as I mentioned. By the way, if not sure if someone is actually watching this, could someone check to see if we're also live on Twitter? Because according to Restream, we're also live on Twitter, and I don't even know how that works, to be quite honest. But yeah, I was saying, so I went, okay, I'll go live to YouTube, I'll go live to Twitch, where I've only got like 2 followers, so it's pointless anyway. I go live to Twitter in case it works. No love for the filter pane. I'm sorry, that I no love for the filter pane. Sometimes just no love from me for the filter pane. Plenty of love for the
It
filter
does,
pane.
like,
It's got,
it does got any fun. Come on.
This is why when I say things like I hate the filter pane, I kind of hate the filter pane, because I'm so used to people saying, no, it's fantastic, you should use it, it's so good. Yeah, it all
Well,
explodes.
as
Yeah,
long as you don't get into measure tables, it's okay.
yeah,
Even if you
true.
say you love them or you hate them, then it havoc breaks out. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I made one video on pie charts, which was controversial enough, so I'm not going to create one on filter panes as well, because I'm not going to go down that road again. Anyway,
Calendar next. Yeah.
yes, that was another one. Do you use Discord at all, by the way?
Well, Discord, no, I haven't
Yeah.
touched that thing. But
Okay.
apparently, Ruth Pozuelo has like a Charticulator Discord channel or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And that's the only time I said, well, maybe I should get into that. But then something else came in and I forgot about it.
No, I tried to use it. It seemed quite chaotic.
Well, it sounds to me, I mean, it's all voice, right? Well,
It's
it's all
all
about, it's all I know about it.
it's all what, sorry?
A voice or no? It's like a chat thing, or I have no idea. You see,
Oh, okay. No, I just saw like I go on there and I see oh god, we're getting controversial now.
But it doesn't mean-
I just see a big mess. Okay, actually, this is actually be quite good. Measure tables. I know Johnny doesn't like measure tables, and neither does Ruth from Kerbal.
Oh,
She
Johnny
does
doesn't like
not.
it. Ruth hates them to
Yeah,
death.
she
Different
doesn't.
level. I mean,
She's like, no.
yeah.
I actually a different thing. I was like, okay, a measure table can be bad, but I'm like, what about multiple measure tables?
Well, yeah,
Because
why not?
this for
I
me makes
actually, I would do that. I mean,
yeah.
in that post about the data problems button, I mean, you have a lot of measures that are totally irrelevant in general for any metric. They're only for that button, and they belong there. I mean, and then you just make a table, you put the measures there, and then you hide the whole thing and forget about it.
Yeah,
Why not?
I did. I did Johnny a disservice. Apparently, he's okay with them. No, but the reason I was thinking is because one of the things I've someone said is like if you had all the measures in one table, it's difficult. But when you connect to the data from Excel, of course you have this big mess and you have
But
stuff.
you're not gonna use those measures anyway, so yeah.
Well, if you at the very least, if you have a second measure table just for formatting measures, the
Yeah,
stuff that
yeah,
you
yeah.
never ever.
Exactly. Like irrelevant measures or like stuff,
Yeah,
technical stuff. Put it there.
yeah. Basically, Power BI garbage essentially, not garbage in Power BI, but once you're outside of Power BI, then they're completely
Yeah.
useless. So,
Even I think SQL BI recommended to do that.
really,
I cannot find the video, but it was there. It's like, and
don't show me the
it
video because
wasn't.
please.
No, it was like to synchronize slicers. I mean, you have like two
Mm,
dimensions, and then you select one, and then you still see all the values from the other dimension, even though that not all of them have values in the fact table.
mm.
And then you just have to keep clicking colors until you find like some data, and then it's like,
Yeah,
okay, and people like just activate bidirectional relationship, and he was like, no, don't do that. You can just put like a small like filter visual, like measure visual, and then it's a
okay,
slicer thing, and then but this you can put it on a table, and then you can hide it all together, something like that. But
yeah,
I've looked for that video afterwards, and I haven't found it, so it's somewhere.
okay.
Okay,
I'll
I've
have a
seen
look
it.
for it. I'll have a look for it. I probably will create a video on measure tables, and I'll mention Ruth in it perhaps, just to maybe try and get a rise out of her. What are you use on a comment? One second. I'm trying to get through Christian's long message. Yeah, I can't get. I'm not so good at talking and reading at the same time. You see some people who do these live streams and they're like talking and reading. I'm like, how do you do
Well,
that?
maybe they
It's just
don't. They just fake it. I think.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So sometimes,
Oh, but
yeah.
you're putting a prefix. If Ruth sees this, you're gonna end up bad. She hates prefixes.
I'm,
As well.
I'm, I'm gonna send her the link and get us all in trouble. To be quite honest,
Ruth will kick us our ass.
she's gonna block us on Twitter. Maybe
At least.
she'll get her account suspended.
Yeah. Well, but I accepted from there. I mean, we had this discussion about table prefixes. I was the guy who would still put like dim and fact on table names.
Okay.
And then she made the video like, "Oh, you are new to Power BI if you," and then said the prefix thing. I was like, "Oh, come on, why not?" And then we just like, "Well, this doesn't belong here and there." And then I moved the conversation to Twitter, and then even Marco Russo came in and said like, "Bernat, give up. Just no prefixes." It was like, "Okay, I'm giving up prefixes."
That's class. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it might depend on your route to Power BI. I always think you can tell when someone is like a data engineer who uses Power BI because every single's got underscores all the time. It's like if every single column of every single measure is just all underscores, I'm like, yeah, you probably at some point were a data engineer because this is what you do, right?
Something.
Can't be underscores, man. Anyone invested in the latest? I'll tell you what. I'll jump to this.
I'm in the chorus. I paid for it. I haven't even finished installing the tools.
No, I started yesterday.
Oh,
I started yesterday. Yeah, I got approved. I was very happy that my employer approved it. It was very kind of them, I thought.
Ooh,
And yeah, I was really happy.
Nice.
And mastering tabular, it's called, right? Yeah, and it's with one extra. I'm expecting it to be pretty awesome, but I can't comment because I'm literally on the first intro video. But I'm really happy. I haven't been so excited about training for quite some time. But yeah, I have invested, and
I
I
mean,
will.
I decided that I would have to do it at some point in my life. So I said, okay, it's true that SQL doesn't make any discount. So I said, okay, get it now, and at least you have the discount.
Yeah,
So,
true. Well,
and you have the what is 1 billion rows Contoso data set. I'm looking forward to this as well.
oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they'll make it available elsewhere, but at least for this course, you get to use it.
Yeah, that's quite nice. That's quite nice. For practice data, I'm always just happy with it. I'm not sure, like when I do like anything that's testing or anything, I'm always just use my fantasy football API, to be quite honest. So I'm never that.
Oh,
uh, it's
I love the Contoso one. It's like because it
yeah,
feels you feel like a pro because it's the one that they use in SQL BI. It's like, hey, I'm doing the same thing. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. Everyone is trying to emulate SQL, but it makes sense.
yeah. Well,
I
at least
understand.
myself, I'm unashamedly trying to emulate SQL BI.
There's nothing wrong with that, mate. I mean, it's a nice standard to have, right?
Yeah. Aim high, they say, right?
Exactly. One second. I'm just going to highlight this. I promise it was not my intention to take a shot at data engineers. I spend a lot of my time on the phone at data engineers, and they help explain things to me. So I have a lot of love for them, but they do love underscores. This is just
I consider myself a data engineer, but maybe not so
okay.
much of a data warehouse thing in which they put like
Um,
so many prefixes that the name is like 20 characters or something. It's just too long.
yeah, yeah. But no, it's okay. Yeah, so once again, 3 hours in. Hopefully, it's going to be a cool course. We'll see. I just wanted to raise one like general topic because I was thinking about this before as well. I mentioned Discord briefly. Yeah, getting to Discord, and there's Discord, and there's a few different sites. And I noticed. Oh, I know this by the way because before I do these chats, I tend to do a little bit of obviously stalking of that person. Nice stalking, not like terrifying stalking.
Welcome.
Yeah,
You can do it.
and I saw you were like on like a one website that's like a group of Power BI users or something.
Maybe, yeah. Sign up
Yeah,
to many things that don't
exactly.
exist.
And this was the thing. I'm not sure like what your general opinion is. I always find like when people say to me, "Where can I get in touch with Power BI community type people?" I always just say Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter is really good.
I do
It's my
think.
yeah. I mean, I there was like a Barcelona user group thing, and then I entered there, and then the latest post was 1 year old. It was like, oh, is this dead? I have to create a new group or something. And then eventually I started contacting like the organizer on LinkedIn. I don't know. I sent some message, and eventually I got an answer. It's like, oh, are you in the group? It was like, yeah, it's dead. It was like, no, it's not. It's a WhatsApp group. It's very active. It was like, oh, wait, WhatsApp group? And then she was like, yeah, come on in. And then I entered, and it's full of very nice guys like Isidra, who's there. And yeah, and for me, I mean, maybe it's not where I mostly go to, I don't know, for advice or anything. Maybe I do, but it's also a good place to exchange, things that happen and maybe some memes about Power BI. There's lots of fun, and eventually we'll make some events as well.
Yeah.
And then other than that, yeah, Twitter is great. And then I also like Reddit, going there and seeing like different use cases that you never thought about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Actually, I underuse Reddit. It's a good point.
I mean, I usually when I was in doing Excel, I would go to many forums, and then I would paste questions, and then people would answer me, and I was like, "Who answers questions?" I mean, if people don't have anything better to do, they're like, "I don't care." But I mean, I'm glad they do. But now maybe I got a point in my life in which I enjoy answering and helping people, and really,
yeah, it's nice.
Really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you help somebody, you help yourself, right?
I always feel like I went on Reddit a couple of times, and I do underuse that for sure. But it's so fast, like it's a post, there's an answer, it's a post, there's an answer. And I feel like Twitter for me is always like that nicer place for the community because it kind of feels like more conversational somehow. I mean, that's just the nature of Twitter perhaps, And also like, I think there's something like on, like what's up, like Telegram or something, which I don't use to be quite honest. I had a look at it briefly and uninstalled it. And then also it's the same thing. I had like so many users. It's like impossible just to keep up with anything and to kind of keep anything fluid and going. I know I forget the guy's name, and for that I apologize. But he has a website where he he collects a lot of Power BI related stuff, and he has like a website on this person does that in the community and this person does this in the community, which I thought was it's a nice idea. It's good, but also for the same time, I think if you follow like 3 or 4 key people, you can just see it anyway. It's right there. It's like a stream.
Yeah. So, you know what? I used to hate Twitter, really, very strongly. I mean, I was like, come on, because I don't know. I entered there, I started like following, relatives and friends and some famous people and stuff. And then it was like a huge mess of messages. It was like, why should I be reading this? I don't know. And it's like, okay, this is garbage. And I was like a Facebook guy, really. And then, which I would like the news. I mean, really, I still was not into Power BI or anything. And then during the pandemic, people, I don't know. I got into a bad argue on Facebook, and then I was like anxious and stuff. Like, dude, this is no good. I don't like this, and I didn't delete my account, but I uninstalled it. So I don't enter there anymore. And then, of course, but you have like moments in which you just want to like scroll something, right? So I said, okay, let's open Twitter. And then I started using Twitter. Oh, Alex is there. Hey, Alex. And,
I know, right? I'm on it.
Yeah. And then eventually one thing moved to the other. And then when I started like putting Power BI stuff from my regular account on Twitter, and it was like, this doesn't feel good because I was like mixing, like Catalan politics and Power BI. This is so weird. And then I said, you need an account. And whoa, very good. Because if you just post one topic, you're very easy to follow. I mean, if somebody likes that topic, it probably will follow you because it's like, oh, come on, I get good things from this guy. Yeah. And I think that's really, and then follow really only those people that post Power BI. I mean, at least for me, I really don't so very important figures in Power BI just because they put so many pictures and stuff of other stuff. It's like, okay, no, sorry. I want to get focused. And if they put
yeah, for one thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, normally what they put about Power BI, it gets already enough likes and stuff, so it appears in my timeline anyway. Yeah. So even sometimes the other stuff gets in my timeline anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
And now knowing this, I'll be more careful when I shitpost, knowing how you feel about this sort of thing.
No, you're still on my wanted list. It's okay. No, that really, I mean, I overkill it. It's like, come on, man.
I forget though. Like, I agree. I think I used to have like a personal Twitter account, and I shut it down. And I had this like just for Power BI. But sometimes, every now and then, when I tweet someone out of the Power BI general data realm, and then they get a response, and I was like, oh right, I forget. Twitter is an absolute goddamn nightmare. I always forget about that. If you stay in your little niche in this,
it's all right.
Blinkers on. This is fine. Yeah. Everyone else.
Power BI, we're all friends. If we start talking politics, we may kill each other. I don't know. So,
and as much as we might disagree on measured tables, on date tables, on all this sort of thing, at the end, it's respectable, right?
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's all. Yeah, Johnny says it very well. It's like personal taste. I mean, you want to do it, go and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that the one thing that I've never seen anyone particularly disagree on is data modeling. Everyone's okay with that.
Yeah. But really, sometimes people were. What was it? I entered like some Telegram channel on Power BI, Spanish one. It was like, and then I don't know. There was some guy saying like, "Don't create ever a calculated table with DAX."
Column, yeah.
Oh, that's a bit too much. What is it? No, I mean there was like an X on top of the button. Like there was just like some. It was like, and then but the SQL BI guy said, these guys only know DAX, and they were like very for Power Query. It was like very emotional. I was like, whoa! I'm not used to this kind of emotions in Power BI chats. Twitter is a different style.
I think that there's a lot of stuff that's the best practices. These are things that you should do. It's like, it's just your opinion. Come on, it's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. One person's best practices is varies from, unless it literally completely very, very important, massively affects data performance or refresh rates. Unless it affects those things, I know it's okay. Wait until you mention pie charts. Wait until you
Well,
mention.
yeah. And then, well, you
Hey,
have out-of-date time, which is also a big pile of shit.
I will advocate pie charts forever with 2 categories. That's
Yeah,
it.
well, those are good. Those are fine.
Those are fine. See, and I said this last week, so I'll repeat myself a little bit. Pie charts and other visualizers have been given a bad name by politics, because politics and data sources are just and data visualizations are just the worst. But pie charts with 2 categories. There you go. Best or
Yeah.
recommended. Best practice or recommended. I'm not sure what that comment means, but recommended, I suppose, is yes. Recommended is fine. The best practice for me implies you should do this, and if you don't do it, it's wrong. Recommendation, yeah, fine, no
Well,
worries. I could
have you
ignore
tried the
recommendation.
best practice analyzer and tabular editor? I mean, I think
I
there's like
haven't.
no single model which can be like 100 points out of that, because it finds all sorts of things that should be changed. And I was like, oh, come on, man! Like, very, very strict. So I don't use it very much for that
Yeah.
reason.
This is so correct. That Power BI feature request politics. You know what? We could do 45 minutes just on that topic. It's a really good point.
Well, yeah, Jeff Ware can tell you a thing or two on that. I mean, yeah.
I was thinking of Jeff. I really was. Like,
I mean, it's a bit ridiculous that you have to do that to get your points. I
yeah.
mean, for a new feature, maybe I can get it. But when I entered an issue, I have a problem with Power BI. Oh, go to the issues. We monitor that. Go there. And then I
Yeah.
saw that like there was like vote button there. So like, come on, man. I need people to vote for that. So
Yeah.
you look into it. I don't know. I have this blog post. It ends up with this visualization, which the DAX is very quick, but just to show you the tooltip, it was like, what is going on here? Somebody tell me. So I didn't get it.
Yeah, it
I don't know.
happens.
Jeff is, I think it might be sleeping or
It's
something,
not,
right?
but I would never talk about Jeff behind his back. I'll send him the link and I'll tell him what we mentioned, just so he's very on board with everything that we mentioned about him. All said with a
Yeah.
lot of love. I'm sure he understands, and if he doesn't, he can just block me.
Source control. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. A lot of these things that sounds good, but I don't know. I don't think I would use it.
Yeah, no. But this goes back to what I was saying before about the requests for new features regarding the waterfall, removing totals from the waterfall chart. I didn't understand that at all. So okay,
Yeah.
it's a new thing, but I don't know. I don't try to understand the logic, because I do think though I don't talk about features that I want or like or would need in Power BI very often, because I do think if you're a person who sometimes who works for for Microsoft Power BI on Twitter, it must get quite an overload sometimes, because
Yeah.
there's a ton of updates very frequently, but still people saying, but not this one, and getting quite irate about it. So okay, I'm just going to leave that subject to one side, because there's enough loud voices on that particular area. So yeah.
Yeah. Christian is totally correct. I'm all into DAX formatting. Even though I have to say, I was a comma in the front type of guy. I like commas at the beginning because they are easier to see. And if you forget the comma at the very end, I think it's harder to see. But
Yeah.
I don't want to argue with SQL BI, so if the comma goes at the end, it goes at the end. It's okay.
I like commas at the end, I gotta say. I never did spaces for the brackets, I gotta say.
No, that is weird, but it's more sponge. I don't know. Maybe it's easier to read. It is. I don't know.
It probably is easy to read, but I'm terrible at typing. And for me, it's just like for this,
Oh,
adding a space, you can read it without this.
wait. You're not using tabular editor?
What?
You're not using tabular then?
Doch?
There's a button then for it. Yeah. There's a button for that.
Yeah, I can't find that button. Where is it?
No, come on, man.
No, I don't know where it is. I see it so often. And when I open my tabular editor, I can never find it.
Okay. Then where is Daniel Oettinger?
I've probably done something wrong. This is what I'm saying. Like when it comes to type, I'm a bit of a. I'm still learning as I go. I use tabular editor. A lot of the reports that I do, I still create the measures inside the PBIC, to be quite honest. But where am I? A new version. A new version's available. There you go.
Yeah.
I can't open it because I can't show anyone any work data.
Okay, it's
But
okay.
I'll look for it.
Probably it's there in the middle. Like, it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise there's a macro that will do it for you, and there's all the ways.
There's a macro, really? Didn't know.
Yeah. There's one that I think it's one line of code. It's like model all majors, format DAX.
Yeah.
It does it.
Yeah, unformatted DAX is painful, and I completely agree. When I remember when I first started using Power BI, it's like a long time ago, and I started writing the DAX. That was the first time since I was 15. When I was 15, I would like write some HTML like websites and stuff. I hadn't written anything between the ages of 16 and whatever age it was when I started using Power BI, and I literally would write my entire DAX as in long sentences, you know.
Oh.
And I was like, it's okay, like no worries. But then once I started to get more advanced, I was like, oh my god, this is a nightmare. I've got to go back through every single one of my measures and change it because I've done a terrible thing. So yeah, I think it was for the first six, maybe 7, 8 months, I was writing long sentences of DAX, and I feel like I owe a lot of people an apology for that.
I think Excel needs to do something about that because it's exactly what it happens. It's like
Exactly, like Excel. Yeah.
And it sucks. I mean, trying reading an Excel formula is a nightmare.
Yeah.
But you can break it in parts, maybe. But
when you got like 45 ifs and you got to like work out, and it's just you kind of want to
exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fantastic. I scheduled this for 45 minutes. We've gone on for 50. I've had a very nice chat, but I think we'll start to wind it down so you can go and maybe are your kids asleep now, or are they still awake there? No, they're awake.
I think they're still awake. Yeah, they're still awake. Yeah.
You can go and provide some interference for your wife and help with the kids. I love the art on your walls, by the way. This is the second time. Also, last week with Kerry, she had art on her walls, and I see over your right hand shoulder you've got like a rainbow and stuff. Beautiful.
I got all sorts of things. Yeah.
I like it a lot. I thought one of them. I thought one next to like your head, as I see. I thought at first it was like a donut chart, but it's not. It looks like it's a thought bubble or something.
It's interesting. I mean, there's like some of them, like even me, like saying, hurry up!" There's all this life reflected on these pictures. Yeah.
Oh, love it. Cool. I really enjoyed the chat. I've learned a lot from you before this chat, from all your fantastic blog. I'll keep on learning. I might send you a screenshot and say, can you please show me where the format DAX button is on Tabular Editor?
Maybe. Okay.
Thanks to everyone for joining, though. I had a really nice time. All your questions, all the interactions, always good fun. And next week, there'll be another one, same time, same place. Just so you know, last week I didn't send out a link to tell everyone how they could reach the live stream, and it was actually Bernat who said, "Ben, why didn't you do that?" And I said, "I don't know how to do that." And he said, "Well, there must be a way." So then I googled it, and now from now on there will be a link in advance, and I will always be grateful for Bernat for inspiring me to do that.
I want to change them.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. It was good fun, and hopefully I'll see you all next week. And you join us where I'm be talking to someone else also next Thursday.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.